Hello everyone and thank you. As Will said, my name is Dana and I'm here with Stefan and Karin. And we've created a brief presentation today to tell you a little bit more about what we did this year and what we've learned. So first off, this is our agenda slide. Stefan is going to tell you a little bit more about core and recruiting, and Karin is going to talk a little bit about our capstone and our concentrations in the spring. But I can tell you, and I can speak for almost everyone in this room, that multiple times during the year I sat down and I wondered, can I get by on $8 an hour? Can I stop now? Is that possible? So our class, as Will also mentioned, we're very diverse, as you can tell. We have Greg from Russia. We have Mexico represented. Lots of Indians. Love Indians. Love India. Went to India. And we also have someone from Bahrain, which I was told is a very small island somewhere. Looking at you, Abhishek. So a lot of us were here over the summer for Jumpstart and preparing for the start of core. Those of us that weren't business undergrads. And life from the summer to the fall, it was a big change. You know, the summer was great. Awesome drink specials at the bar, lots of time to sleep, it's beautiful outside, smiles all around. And then you come to the fall, where we get Jimmy John's delivered to breakout rooms with no windows. We get 4 hours of sleep on average a night, and we make, tons of presentations every single day. So it was drastically different, but it was a great experience. So I'd like to pass it on to Stefan right now to dive a little bit into core.
Thank you, Dana. Shameless plug to all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah. And dads too, we love you as well. This is what the core was. This is just the fall semester you're looking at right now. And I just want to run through all these classes with you just so we can all be on the same page. We had IT architecture, ERP, strategy and case analysis, project management, BEAM, business and process management, IT service management, IT GRC. 3 classes with Keith Dayton, which were collaboration and teamwork, professional development, and ethics, finally, IS research. All right, that's a lot of classes, but it just doesn't really do it justice. So I kind of want to take you guys to class with me. First of all, let's start out with technology. There it is. Let's start out with IT architecture and Professor Dippin. Professor Dippin, come on. All right, folks. Today we're going to assign an assignment. It's going to take anywhere from 14 to 48 hours. I'm going to post this assignment sometime before it's due. Assignment's going to be based on this slide alone. But the good news is we're getting out 35 seconds early. Have a great weekend, folks. All right, maybe I overdid it a little bit with the evildoer laugh, but honestly, there's only one slide I could possibly ever make to really embody how we felt after every single one of these classes. Moving on. Let's go to a happier time. ERP with Professor Bala. Good stuff, glasses back on. ERP with Professor Bala. Here we learn how to use SAP, which is an enterprise software. Really, you can run your entire business, huge corporations, from start to finish of your entire process. Here's what one of these classes look like. SAP is a perfect system. If you enter the material correctly, it's going to work perfectly from start to finish. If you don't, you get to spend all your time in this beautiful lab with your classmates until 4 o'clock in the morning. And then once you figured out who screwed up the SAP system, they have to buy you beer. Just like I said, a perfect system. Thank goodness for Florence Mann on my team, or we would still be in the ERP lab as we speak right now. And I figure a lot of people don't really know what business process management is, so it's an important one for us to go over. Really, you just take a business process, you from start to finish, and then you just put it on a piece of paper. And for an example, let's just take the MSIS program, and Professor Lopez will give us this one. Okay, as you can see here, Professor Peter Whitman and Professor Dayton, they send you a message and you come to the MSIS program. From here, there's much more different ways that you can actually in the program. So first of all, maybe you go to Jumpstart, maybe you don't, maybe you cry yourself to sleep on a loop. And then there's this gateway in the spring, no one really knows what this means, but maybe Jing Jing teach you about elephants. Maybe Bibbin scare you with security, or maybe Bibbin take all your free time in ERP. But we all are in the same area, which is graduating the MSIS program. And boy, oh boy, does it feel good. So we're looking at this, it doesn't look like it's that hard. I'm sure parents are like, why could my kids still never answer my phone calls? Let me tell you, it's due to recruiting. That's in the fall as well. What did recruiting actually look like? First of all, we had the fantastic Cindy. She was announced earlier. She told us how to make these car statements, which made us all sound the exact same and confused our employers into hiring us. And then from there, we went to these fantastic networking events. And if we were lucky, we got to go to these second round networking events. And if we were real lucky, we got invited to the third round networking events, where there was pizza, so it was really fantastic. From there, we had interviews and interviews and interviews. Sometimes we had 4 interviews with one company on top of all of these assignments that we needed to get done. But it was all worth it in the end, because we all got our dream jobs. Or not, but that's a totally different story. Now everyone's going to talk about the spring semester.
Happy Mother's Day. So we have 3 concentrations and we are totally ignoring the analytics skills here. We are sorry about it. Business intelligence was taught to us by Professor Khatri and Professor Jing Jing. They were split over 2 7-week courses. And then we have the chair of our program teaching us ERP and security. You've all good things about ERP, right? Moving on. The first 7 weeks of business intelligence taught us that pizza is the greatest motivator. If you want to help the students solve their homework, buy them pizza. If you want to call them for an information session, buy them pizza. If there's an analytics forum happening in Kelly, buy them pizza. Basically, just buy them pizza. And should there be a handout for this? The answer is always yes. You can see Professor Khatri winking there. Pizza, eh? So we have Professor Jing Jing here. Moving on. The next 7 weeks taught us that elephants, bees can analyze data. Now, as bizarre as it may sound, she actually proved it to us that these animals do analyze data. And those are our favorite characters there. So if you had to write an SQL query to find out who the cutest professor in MSIS is, do you know who that would be? Jing Jing! Sure not to miss the little Hadoop there. Moving on to ERP. Wait, what did we learn? ERP. As Professor Lipin might say, oh, I don't know, you tell me, what did you learn? So we know that the little GPI 500 is a real event. You can see Professor Bipin with his DXTR 1000 there. All the answers lie with scn.sap.com. The healthiest cereal is muesli, and life looks better with CVS monitors for all the students. Moving on, security. Bipin taught all the cool stuff in this class about hacking and attacks and the stuff that we see in movies. Okay, not so much, but it's actually a lot of coding here, I think. So we were supposed to scan ports for addresses, and whoever gets Glenleway and McAllen would get an A grade. If it's Johnny Walker, you just might get a C. So choose your scotch carefully. And you can see like some kid who's still working in the ERP lab. Moving on to capstone. We all had a chance to work with real clients who just taught us one thing, that they always want more than they ask for. You give them something good, they want something better. You give them something better, they want something even better. But the cycle keeps repeating. So what did we learn from Capstone? That it always depends. As Will just said, people process with technology is the best approach to solve any problem in this world. Your efforts, however heartfelt, are never going to be enough because the client will always want more. And also the client, however cranky, is always right. If you have 1,000 answers to a case study and if the client tells you you're wrong, basically you're wrong. Find another one. And we all took our Capstone calls on Fridays, and when it rained feedback in court, like you can see my teammate corner there holding an umbrella. Moving on to something the parents would really appreciate, the financial slide, or not. Okay, I promise we're not that kid who's just throwing money in the air. We purposely deleted the figure so that you can walk home safely and not know how much is spent. And who put drinking excessively? We don't drink excessively, right? No. But apart from that, we paid rent for a house that we never went to or we just went there to sleep basically. So now, like every presentation, we should always have a conclusion slide. So what are the key takeaways from this MSIS program? The key takeaways. Did we learn how to make friends? No. We learned how to leverage our core competencies in the complex art of relationship building to add value, not only to our networks, but to networks. Did we learn about business and technology? Or absolutely not. We learned about the synergy of business and technology and how we can use this synergy to solve complex business problems through a mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive approach. Did we learn how to handle stress? I think we absolutely did that. We learned how to manage our time efficiently so as to include the washroom breaks and all other breaks that we need in our calendar because we're always busy. And now, I would just like to hand it over to Dana to answer a few questions that you may have because I am not fit for the job.